Bring it out. First we go. Cut 'em up, cut 'em up, cut 'em up. There we go. Build 'em up, build 'em up. Yeah, there we go. Break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down. There we go. Bring it out, bring it out. Bring it out, bring it out. Cut 'em up, cut 'em up, cut 'em up. There we go. Build 'em up, build 'em up, build 'em up. There we go. Break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down. Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. First we go. Cut 'em up, cut 'em up, cut 'em up. There we go. Build 'em up, build 'em up. Yeah, there we go. Break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down. There we go. Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. Cut 'em up, cut 'em up, cut 'em up. There we go. Build 'em up, build 'em up, build 'em up. There we go. Break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down, break 'em down. Bring it out, bring it out, bring it out, bring it out.
Ain't no truth right now. The truth is over here, and y'all don't want to hear it. The truth over here, y'all don't want to hear it. Why you gonna get killed tonight? The Most High ain't playing no games. Stay right here, sis. Don't move. You safe over here.
Work. Now, I know you probably got to go, but just bear with me a little bit, all right? Because what I'm showing you is something that's a part of your true history.
That's right.
God said that 6 days we work through the week. And on the Sabbath day, which is right now, from sun up to sundown, is the Lord's Sabbath day. You understand?
Right.
Come on.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
So on the Sabbath day, you're not supposed to be doing any work.
Right.
That's a commandment. When we was in the land of Jerusalem, because that's where we come from, that's our true homeland, not Africa, there was no working going on. There was no businesses going on. All these lights in these stores would be shut off.
Right.
But not in America, because they have it 24/7. 7 days a week business is going on.
Right.
So they saying, God, we trust in America, right? This land don't trust in no God of the Bible.
That's right.
That's what you got to realize. That's what we're showing our people, is that the God that they say that is blessing this country is not the God that's written of in the Bible. It's another God. It's the son of perdition, Satan. There's a many of sins that's going on here in America that people think God are blessing them in, but that's not true. We're trying to get our people back to the light of God,
That's right.
of Jesus to Christ, and the faith of love in the spirit of this Bible.
Right.
But you got to do that not as a Haitian. God is coming back to save you as a Levite.
That's right.
Come on, keep reading about the Sabbath day. Come on.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy manservant.
Nobody is supposed to be doing work for hire on the Sabbath day. I'm going to give you more. Give me 35 verse 1. 35 verse 1. So I'm going to show you what else. How do you keep the Sabbath day holy? Guess what? If you keep the Sabbath day holy, guess who else is going to be holy?
You know?
Exactly. That's common knowledge.
That's right.
And don't you want to be holy before God? I'm going to show you in the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6.
You know?
I'm going to show you that God called you holy.
Right.
And the only way you become holy is you do the holy things that's in the Bible. You understand? So you got to realize and understand that you're not walking holy right now. I wasn't walking holy at once neither, because I didn't know the Bible as I should have.
Right.
I wasn't taught the Bible as I should have.
Right.
That's why we out here, to inform our people of the gospel, the good news. That how we learned the Bible or God in America was taught to us from slavery.
Right.
The slave master gave us his doctrine in the slave history. You see what I'm saying? Of what his ideology of the Bible was. That's why he put up his image as Jesus Christ. That's why he thinks that he's God, that God is white. But when you actually have some intelligence in reading the Bible, God was a black man. Jesus Christ was black. The mother Mary was dark-skinned. Joseph was dark-skinned. All the apostles and prophets were of our nation, brother. And that's important to know. Because there's no, if you think that Jesus Christ is white, guess who else you gonna think is holy and pure and white and good? Who you gonna think, if you see him as, if you see Jesus Christ as pure and good, who else you gonna think on this earth is pure and good? No, the white man. I'm gonna get specific. If you think in your mind, that's why they put this image out. Image speaks 1,000 words, and it can make people do a lot of things. If I think in my mental, in my psychologically, if I think that Jesus Christ was white and God is white, guess who I'm going to treat good even though they killing us on the street corner? The white man that's on the streets. The white man that's pulling us over, gunning us down.
Right.
We're going to think that there's no wrong in that man even though we see evil in him every single day.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to show you. And then when you look at your own brother, you see, I can't stand you. You understand what I'm saying? So you loving your enemy and hating your own people.
Right.
That's the psychological warfare that we've been put in America from slavery,
right,
from black history. Let's read this on the Sabbath day. Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
Did you hear what God said about you, brother? What did he say?
Huh? Special people.
We are special people, bro.
That's right.
Somebody on the earth is special.
Right.
Read the whole verse over again in its entirety, because in America they say we all one people, we all equal rights. No, it's not. They show you that on the news channel that y'all don't have equal rights.
Right.
You so-called Negroes, in the month of February, your Black History Month, you have been hoodwinked, you have been bamboozled, you have been fooled.
That's right.
Just because they give you 1 month out of the whole year don't mean y'all have anything in this land. You are still slaves in America.
Right.
They give you 28 days and you proud.
Right. Look it up.
When this whole Bible is your history.
Right.
Come on.
The Lord thy God, Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
God said you're holy unto the Lord thy God. There's a certain people on earth that's holy unto God. What else? Come on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
So now the Bible is saying that God have chosen thee, the people.
Right.
That ain't talking about everybody. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Come on.
To be a special people unto himself.
Now God is saying this people that's holy is a special people unto himself. Like if you have kids, right? Those kids are special unto you because you begot them kids. You gave birth to them kids. You pushed them kids out, right? Those are your kids. So what are you going to do for your kids? When they do wrong, huh? Come on, brother, teach me. What? Huh? Very good. So like God is for his children. If we do wrong, we're going to be punished. One of those punishments was this on the sign right here. Check this out. You see a white man selling us as slaves. You see that? This was a punishment. That's why we teaching what happened in black history. It's in the Bible.
Right.
Because whoever, in the Bible you read the name Israel, but that doesn't correlate to you because I asked you what your heritage was and you said Haitian.
Right.
But where did God ever call anybody on earth Haitian?
Right.
Where did God call anybody on earth black?
Right.
Where is there a state or a country or a continent of black? Where did God call anybody in the Bible American?
Bring it up.
Man called men that, but God never called us that. You know what God called us? Israel.
That's right.
That's in the Bible.
Right.
So who would you believe, man or God? All praises to the Most High God. That you believe in him and trust in him rather than men. Because you're not looking at no American black, and I'm not looking at no Haitian. I'm looking at the Son of God.
That's right.
That's your true God-given nationality. God called you that. I can't change that.
Right.
Come on, let's read else. What else in your heritage? Read on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that upon the face of the earth.
Did you hear that? Read that little part again. Come on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
How you doing, brother? Hey, listen, we teaching our heritage real quick. If you want to learn, we can. All right? God never called us Haitian. God never called us Black American. He never called us Jamaican. God called us the Israelites. And he said this about us. We're what?
Above all people that upon the face of the earth.
So guess what? Somebody on this planet Earth is above all people upon the face of the earth.
Right.
I'm going to show you more proof that that's Israel. Let's go to one of the laws, because you already understand. If we did wrong against God, we'd be punished. One of the commandments that we did wrong was we didn't keep the Sabbath day holy.
Right.
I see you growing a beard on your face right there. Guess what? God said we're supposed to grow beards on our faces.
That's right.
Jesus Christ had a beard on his face. They ripped him off of him when he was crucified.
That's right.
God said, I'm going to make man in my image. God had woolly textured hair and he had a beard on his face. That's in the Bible.
Right.
You have to go and read it. You understand? We showing you it. We reading the Bible out to you out loud so that you know the good news that's in it. You can't get caught in the doctrine of Christianity because they're not going to open up the Bible for you. They're going to just say, all you got to do is believe.
Right.
How do I believe? What do I got to do? Believe on Jesus with your heart. And while you at it, go ahead and give me this $10. Give me the tithes and offerings. Do they not ask for money every time you go? We don't want your money, though. We just want you to learn.
That's right.
So let's get what I say. Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Let's read some of God's punishments
Bring it up.
that he put upon us. I'm going to show you real quick, all right? One of God's punishments. Read. Come on.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
God said we was going to serve our enemies. Now, you know a little bit about black history, right? We talking about the Israelites. God said that the Israelites would serve their enemies. Now, you got to connect what you read in the Bible to the history that you know of slavery.
Right.
What enemy did your forefathers serve in slavery?
Bring it up.
Huh? The whites. You in particular was the French whites. Napoleon. You understand?
Right.
Do you know anything about the history of your country? Who was that, Jude? Missaline? That's what you said? Dessalines, right? How he claimed independence over the French?
That's right.
What was that, in 1804?
That's right.
He fought, that was a French white man.
Right.
You got a European white man.
Right.
You have a Spaniard white man.
Right.
You understand? These different white nations, the Dutch white, the Russian whites,
Right.
the Portuguese whites,
Right.
they all came and enslaved us as a people. But God said this, if you don't listen to me, my children, you're going to serve your enemies. Read on.
Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
So you was going to serve your enemies for food and hunger. Stay where you at and read from that point on, all right? It says in hunger, all right? And in thirst. So today, who do you go to serve at Walmart to drink the food and eat the water? Who do you serve? Who owns that? The manager? Okay, who's above the manager? You forgot? Okay, you know anybody by the name, because I used to work at Walmart myself. There was a name by Sam Walmart. That's his name, right?
Sam Walton.
Sam Walton, right? He was a white man.
Right.
He founded that. Now, he was a white man of whose country is he in? His own country, the white nation. So now, in America, like these businesses that we got here right here, these gas stations, you may see black faces in there, but who do they pay taxes to?
Bring it up.
The government. Who owns the government? Do your people own the government? Do the Haitians run the government right now? Do the American blacks run the government? We may be in there, but do we run it? Can we sit behind the Oval Office or whatever it is and kick back and make our own laws and stuff? Even Obama, when he was in there, of course, he's not of our nation, but Obama, he had to go by their rules, right?
Right.
This ain't our country.
Right.
This is not the promised land. This is not our rest.
Right.
You know what our true homeland is? Jerusalem.
That's right.
Jerusalem.
Bring it up.
That's the mother of us all.
Right.
That's where we come from. That's our place of origin,
Right.
not Africa. Where were we before Africa? We was in Jerusalem.
Right.
That's the Holy Land. That's your land. So the people that's over there right now, they're trying to be like you. You understand? We want to be basketball players. We want to be entertainers.
Right. Right.
And 99.9% of all these entertainers in America will teach you as a young man in America to sin.
Right.
To sin.
Bring it out.
Why is that? Because Lil Wayne got tattoos all on his face. And he got the money and the cars and the women, right? You want to inspire to do that. So what do? You play basketball, you get the tattoos, you want to have the women, and it keeps you in the sin of whoremongering
Right.
and adultery and thefts and murder of your people. But we're going to show you how to get yourself correct with God. You understand? That's what we're trying to do. The first steps of that is knowing that your nationality is not Haitian. What's your true God-given nationality? Levi. All praise.
That's right.
Bring it up.
So now, you understand you Levi, right? I'm trying to make it even more crystal clear. Here we go. Keep reading where you at, and we're going to get how a man should redeem himself in America. Come on.
And in nakedness and in want of all things.
So guess what? If you need food, clothing, or water, you're going to have to serve your enemy for it. You understand?
Right.
We did that in slavery, and we're doing it still to today. Showing you that you're still in the land of your slavery.
Right.
Because them clothes that you got on you, who makes them clothes? Not a Haitian man, right? White people, right?
Right.
The food that you eat, who produces those foods in those markets and the animals and cuts them up and dices them up and give them to us in the stores? Who does that?
Yep.
The whites. The water that we drink, Your parents don't pay the water bill. Who cuts it off? Hey, listen, this is just Bible telling the truth in the Bible right here.
That's right.
We will serve our enemies.
Right.
What else? Come on.
And he shall.
And he. Now, I'm going to try to paint the picture back again. It says, therefore shall you serve your enemies. What enemy did we serve? Now we're going to keep it in the context. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. Why did the Lord send the enemy against us? Brother, you got a spirit on you. You got a spirit of God on you. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. The Israelite man, the so-called black man. So you get it, brother. You know who it's talking about. And what else? Come on.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Now read that part again.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar.
Read a little line before that. I'm sorry. Food, clothing, and water. Hunger, thirst, and nakedness. Read that.
Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
Right, come on.
And in want of all things.
Now, if you need a car, who do you got to go to get the car? Because right now the Bible says, in the want of all things.
Right.
White man. What we're trying to do is show you to our people, because they don't understand. They calling themselves Americans today, right? And now some of our people out of this country want to get American citizenship. But as long as you got that name upon yourself, you still calling yourself the name of a slave. Because that's not your God-given name.
Right.
Now, give me Ecclesiastes chapter 13. I'm going to get to the point of everything that we're doing. The conclusion of why we out here. 12:13. Thank you. You're a young man, correct? In America, it was a statistic that went out a long time ago. Sometimes the American blacks, the Haitian blacks, the Jamaican blacks in America, we don't live past the age of 21 years old. You understand? We're going to show you how to break that number, that scientific number that they got going on. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Once again, I got a bad memory. I'm so sorry. What's your name again? Julian. Okay. Can you remember my name? That's okay then. We're on record then, brother. Julian, I'm going to try to remember hard. Julian, check this out. How old are you, Julian? 16 years old. So you got 5 more years until you're 21 years old. We want to make sure that you live longer than that. Because in America, especially right here in Americana, a lot of things go around that shortens a man's life. But how do you live a long life? You got to do the things in this Bible. So read this verse real quick. Come on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13.
What we're doing is we're showing our purpose in the eyesight of God to our people. I'm going to show you your purpose in the eyesight of God. This is why God created you. Read.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
This is King Solomon, a black man. He said, what's the conclusion of life? Here it is right here. Read.
Fear God.
You have to fear God. Now I'm going to show you how to fear God. Because in America, we fear the white man and think that he's God. Right. But God said, no, fear the true God, the God that looked just like you.
That's right.
Give me Psalms. Hold what you got. Give me Psalms chapter 110, verse 11 real quick. Is that what I want? 111, verse 10.
Get up.
I'm going to show you how do you fear God. Because this is common sense, okay? If you do wrong, you know eventually God is going to punish you. That's the fear of God. You don't want God's punishment to be upon you, his judgment to be upon you. So you're going to do what's right. You understand? Come on.
Psalms chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord.
So Solomon said, fear God, right? That's the first thing he said. This is how you fear God. We're giving you the answer to the question at hand. Fear God, come on.
Is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Why? Because you fear God's judgments. Right. That's true wisdom. Already without you knowing that you have good wisdom. Because you fear God. You fear his judgments. Read on.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
You have good understanding of God when you do what he tell you to do. Right. It's common sense, like in a household. If I do what my parents tell me to do, go to college, come in at a certain time at nighttime, if I go and get good grades, I have that knowledge of doing good by them, they're going to bless me. Right. It's common sense. Likewise with God. If we do right by God, he's going to bless us. That's wisdom. You have a good understanding of life when you do God's commandments. You understand? Read on. So we want you to walk with understanding, with knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Read on. Come on.
His praise endureth forever. Ecclesiastes Chapter 12, verse 13.
Bring it out.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
This is the conclusion of your life. This is your purpose. Read, come on.
Fear God.
What is fearing God? How do you fear God? Huh? Do right by him. Or in another sense, you fear his judgments, right? You do the commandments. How you do right by God is you keep his commandments. Say that for me real quick. And what is that when you do keep his commandments? You fear God, right? You do right by God when you keep his commandments, correct? Come on.
Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man.
Are you a man? Oh, you're a young man, correct? Okay, so this is the whole duty of man. Duty is your business, your purpose, your job. Your duty on earth in the eyesight of God is to fear him and keep what?
Keep his commandments.
One of the commandments that you have to keep, and that's your duty, is what? The Sabbath day.
That's right.
You got to learn to keep the Sabbath day. It's a process of time. I'm going to show you some more ways on how you keep the Sabbath day holy. Give me Titus chapter 2 verse 7. I'm going to show you something real quick. As a young 16-year-old man, brother, you got to show yourself, have a pattern of good works. And if you do that, God will bless you. If you in the midst of smoking weed, if you around here with these drug dealers trying to sell dope, if you around here trying to sleep from woman to woman to woman, talking about you got a girlfriend, what's going to be the end result of your life by the time you're 21? Eventually, you probably going to be in jail. You probably going to be shot up. You're going to be on child support. Some type of disease from a sister, something like that. Something's going to happen to you to shorten your life. You understand? So God said that our men, our women of our nation, of our people, our beautiful so-called black and Hispanic people, Native American people, we have to come back and show ourselves a good pattern of works. That's right. In his eyesight. Read that verse. Come on.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 7. In all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works.
Keep reading.
In doctrine, showing uncorruptness, gravity.
Oh, no, you know what? Let's get verse 6. That's the point, because that's what we're speaking of right now. Come on.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 6. Young men.
What?
Young men.
What?
Young men.
What?
Young men.
How old are you? You're a young man.
That's right.
You're a young man. Likewise with us. We don't know everything. We're still learning ourselves. We're young men. So this goes for us as well.
That's right.
What did it say? Read it again.
Young men, likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
We have to strive, or exhort is what the word exhort means, strive, to be sober-minded. A young man like yourself, when I was coming up, I was drinking. I was smoking cigarettes and Black and Milds and weed and stuff. Are you doing that right now? Oh, you stop. That's good. That's good, young man. Stop. You don't want to know why? Because when you do those things, you're not sober-minded. Meaning that you cannot think clearly.
Right.
And you stay in that trap. That's why a lot of our brothers are stuck in the trap today.
Bring it out.
Cooking up the dope. Talking about skirt, and all this nonsense. Making the music. To keep you in the trap. You understand? But you shouldn't be a silly bird caught in that net.
That's right.
So it says, young man, exhort to be sober-minded. How do you become sober-minded? How do you become sober-minded? How do you think? Do right. But we talked about it a little bit in more detail. How do you fear God? The commandments. Exactly. All praises. How you become sober-minded in America is you have the understanding of God's commandments in your life. Keep reading. Come on.
In all things, showing thyself a pattern of good works. In doctrine.
So you have to show yourself a pattern of good works. Like if you keep the Sabbath right now, it's not just going to happen just because you keep the Sabbath. You have to continue to keep all the commandments, as many as possible. And if you don't know a commandment, you learn it if somebody's telling you, and you keep that commandment. You understand? Because we don't know everything. But if I'm in sin and you show me a commandment, I'm going to keep that law. Because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. God will forgive you if you're not keeping the commandments. You understand? And then he wants you to keep on doing the commandments after you learn it. Hold what you got right here. Let me get Romans real quick. Chapter 12, verse 1. Chapter 12, verse 1. So what we're trying to do is provoke a thought of change inside of you. Where you just got done coming from? School. That's good. That's good. Stay in school. Stay in school. Get the little education that they give you. You understand? Because when you come of age, and even right now, this is the true education.
That's right.
This is the true mathematics and science and reading and English and whatever you need right here.
Right.
This is how you become truly sober.
That's right.
Don't believe in these lies that they tell you about, like our history started in slavery.
Right.
What was we before then?
Right.
You mean to tell me all they got to do is tell me about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey?
Right.
That's right.
They don't tell you about the many inventors that came, and some of the inventors that were black discovered the stop sign, discovered the light bulb. They made these things, the street light. You understand? They don't tell you a lot of these things.
Right.
The bypass surgery, that was a black man. But what happens in America? The white man take the credit for that.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? But now we are great people.
Right.
From birth, we are the creators, because we're the child of the Creator.
Right. That's right.
Come on, read that verse.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies as a living sacrifice.
So check this out. I know you got to leave soon, right? But God said that you have to present your body as a living sacrifice. Meaning, we were at earlier, your reasonable duty in life is to serve God and keep His commandments.
That's right.
Read on, come on.
Holy, except.
So you have to be holy to God. How do you become holy? Keep the commandments. It's a simple answer.
That's right.
It's a simple answer.
Yeah.
But now what you got to do is read the Bible and find the commandments to be holy. And as soon as you start showing yourself a pattern of good works before God, your life gonna change.
That's right.
You ain't gonna have to worry about not getting a job, because you're gonna have one.
That's right.
You're gonna have the wisdom and the understanding to get a job, and not only get a job, but keep a job. And maybe keep a job, but start your own business for your people. That's knowledge and understanding.
Right.
Then you're gonna have the wisdom to have a family and marry a woman of your nation.
That's right.
And have kids and raise your people up to be just like their father.
Right.
You understand? That's what we're trying to do as a people. We're trying to come back and build a holy nation.
That's right.
But we're not holy as American.
Right.
Because they tell us that slavery, our history started in slavery right here. In chains, and we was uka-buka in Africa, drinking blood and cow urine and stuff. That's not our people.
Right.
Just because they dark don't mean we're the same people. You understand? You ever seen a East Indian person? East Indian man, like Aladdin. East Indian. Okay? An East Indian guy. You ain't seen them Indian people, they had a dot on their forehead. Them people, they dark, right? They dark like I said. Sometimes darker than you.
Right.
Are we the same people just because we dark? Nah, we different people.
Right.
So just because you got the same dark skin as the African people, the nations, those are not your people.
Right.
They are Hamitic, we are Shemitic. It's a little long ways in our history, but you're different from this, what I'm saying. That's why I say you're not an African Haitian. You're not a Haitian. You never come from there. You come from Israel. That's your true God-given nationality.
Right.
So come on, read what you got. Come on.
Acceptable unto God.
So when you keep God's commandments, you become acceptable unto God. You're a young, acceptable man unto God.
Right.
Read, come on.
Which is your reasonable service.
Your whole duty and your reasonable service in life is to be holy to God. Keep reading. Come on.
And be not conformed to this world.
You celebrate Christmas? Not all the time. I heard it in there. Not all the time. But you do though, right? You celebrate the New Year's? You celebrate Thanksgiving? What about Valentine's Day? What about St. Patrick's Day? What about Easter? You ever did that before? You done that before, right? What about your birthday? You celebrate your birthday? You don't celebrate your birthday? Do your parents celebrate your birthday for you? What we're trying to do is show you that God never gave these things in the Bible.
Right.
You never read about that. They say, well, Jesus Christ, they gave gifts on his birthday. Jesus Christ never kept a birthday after that.
That's right.
He never kept a birthday, period.
Right.
They gave gifts to the Son of God. But that's why they have the lie of Christmas today.
Right.
They try to mix a pagan custom with the Bible. It don't work like that.
Right.
You understand? So what we're trying to show you is so you can realize this verse right here. Come on, read that verse, verse 2.
But be ye transformed.
You have to be transformed. Be transformed. Because you think you Haitian, now you have to transform into who you really are. An Israelite out of the tribe of Levi.
That's right.
You have to be transformed in America. How?
By the renewing of your mind.
You have to renew your mind, your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I need the apocryphal whole way you got right here. Let me get 2 Ezra chapter 14, verse 34.
Get up.
How do you transform your mind, the renewing of your mind? We're going to show you. If you have any questions, and I need you to ask some questions if you have some. I'm sorry. I know I've been talking the whole time.
Don't worry about it.
I've been talking the whole time. But if you got questions in the Bible, we go to the Bible and show you that love. You understand? Because we teach not to kill.
Right.
We teach not to steal.
Right.
We teach to love our people and be at peace with everybody.
That's right.
We be at peace with everybody on earth. You
That's
understand?
Right. Check it out.
Well, we're going to love our people first.
Right.
We don't hate nobody out here. We love all of our people.
Right.
Come on. Read that verse.
2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 34.
This is how you transform by the renewing of your mind. Come on.
Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding.
God said you have to subdue your own understanding and come to his understanding.
Right.
How do you subdue your own understanding? You forget, huh? Yes.
That's right.
Okay, so when you come to his understanding, what do you have to do with the understanding that you learned in America?
Subdue it.
Say it loud, bro.
Subdue it.
Subdue it, meaning get rid of it.
Right.
You got to get rid of Christmas.
Right.
You got to get rid of your own birthday.
Right.
You got to get rid of St. Patrick's Day. You got to
right.
get rid of Thanksgiving, Halloween. You got to get rid of thinking that everybody's equal and know that you special. That you above all people upon the face of the earth. Ain't no equal rights.
Right.
Why did you have to get civil rights in honor of this month? Why do we have to strive for civil rights? And I'm gonna tell you something. All civil rights mean is treat me like a human to America.
Right.
Why do we have to fight for civil rights? Huh? Why was it difficult for us? Who made it difficult for us in America? The white man, right? How were some of them ways? Because we couldn't drink out of the same water fountain. So we had to have civil rights to drink out of the same water fountain.
Right.
We couldn't go to the same bathrooms. We couldn't eat at the same restaurants. We couldn't live in the same neighborhoods. We couldn't ride anywhere on the bus. So guess what? We started to march to ask the white man to treat us like humans.
That's right.
That's what civil rights is.
Right.
You understand? So why did we have to ask for civil, or why do we have to ask the white man to treat us like humans? What happened to us? You're looking down at it right now. Slave. We were still slaves.
Check it out.
How can you go to the snake's house and tell him to treat me like a lamb? How can you go to an enemy's house and tell him to treat you like a friend?
Right.
You can't do that. It don't make sense.
Check it out.
So even to this day, we still try to what? Make friends with the enemy.
Right.
We trying to hold and love the snake, but it's still biting us.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we're trying to tell our people, don't trust your enemy
That's right.
and love your own people. Is there anything wrong with that?
Right.
It's not nothing wrong with that. Read where you at. Come on, subdue your own understanding. Come on.
And reform your hearts. And reform your hearts.
It says reform your hearts. Because your heart don't do nothing. It's a fleshly organ. It just pumps blood. The heart, it says reform your mind. You understand? Change your mind. Reform it. Change it. Read on.
Ye shall be kept alive.
You're going to be kept alive when you change your mind. Why? Because God is going to bless you out of the patterns of your good works.
That's right.
Read on. Come on.
And after death,
And when you die, or if you die, because some not going to die when Christ returns. Some are actually going to see Christ return. That's what we're doing. We're teaching the coming of Christ. Everybody is going to seek a judgment from Christ.
That's right.
Where you going to be at when Christ returns? You either going to be dead, but when you are dead, God said this. Read.
ye shall obtain mercy.
We want mercy from God.
Right.
We're trying to show you God's commandments so that you can serve and get mercy from God.
Right.
Do you want mercy from God? I do too. That's why I'm trying to teach you God's commandments. Because it's our duty to teach you God's commandments.
Right.
If you learn this word, you don't have the people come to you. You go to the people because you love them.
That's right.
We love you.
Right.
And we hate to see sin upon you.
Right.
We hate to see you smoking weed
Right.
and killing yourself and drugs. We hate to see you gunning yourself down on the street corner.
Right.
And we're going to love you in God's commandments.
Right.
We hate to see our people raping each other, killing from each other, stealing from one another.
Right.
And we love to see you in righteousness.
That's right.
We love you more than you love yourself, because we're teaching you God's commandments.
Right.
Now you may shake your head, that's okay. We just know that we're looking at our people and they sick.
Right.
They spiritually sick and they don't understand.
Right.
They think that Allah is God. They think that they actually African. They think that they actually come from Iraq.
Right.
They think that they actually Buddha, a Buddha God. They think that they can be enlightened and find their third eye. But you've been lied to. You are the gods of this earth. You are the creators of this earth. You are the special people upon this earth. God looked just like you. God looked just like us. But we don't know it. So read on where you at. Go back to that real quick in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. So you got to change your mind. One of the ways you do that, you change how you think. Your mind should be this Bible. You understand? And then you change your actions. This is the last scripture. I know you got to go, brother. Here, I got something for you. A card, a contact information. Look on that real quick. That's an image, a description of Jesus Christ. He didn't look exactly like that. That's just an image. You see, it's in a cartoon form. That's a description of Jesus Christ. He looked like that. He looked just like you. Only thing, the difference between that picture and you is that his hair is gray. It looked old, but you got the same woolly textured hair.
That's right.
You understand? The same dark skin. You understand what I'm saying? Jesus Christ looked just like you.
That's right.
Come on, read that verse.
Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So what are we out here to do? We are here to teach you so-called blacks, you Hispanics, and you Native Indians, that you are the true people of God.
That's right.
We know a lot of our people may shake their head. They may think that this is a white man's book. They may think that everything we saying is a lie, but you have no understanding whatsoever on this earth. Our people would rather believe a white man in a red suit coming down a chimney than God's commandments.
Bring it out.
Our people would rather believe that an Easter bunny would lay an egg than God's commandments. So we're trying to bring you the sense that what you learn in America is a lie.
That's right.
And don't let nobody come to you with no understanding unless they got proof first.
Right.
Give me Titus chapter 2, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15.
Yep.
Brother, I'm not holding you here. If you got to go get home because it's getting dark or whatever, be safe. You don't want to get in trouble, you can. But on that card I gave you is our contact information. We have a school, a place of learning. You're welcome to come. Come home, all right? Come home. Read this verse real quick. This is what God giving you right now. Come on.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to show.
Do what?
Study.
You at school, right? You study to pass a math test and English test, right? God also wants you to study. That way ain't nobody lying to you. Because I could be crazy. I could tell you anything for you to believe it. God wants you to do this. Read.
Study.
Do what?
Study.
To do what?
To show thyself approved unto God.
This the point at hand. I don't care anything about how you think of me. I want God to look at me as I'm acceptable in study. I don't care what nobody else think they can teach me. You understand? I need to study for myself. Don't believe on nobody. Study first and believe on God. Trust in God. That's why every brother up here right now, we are studied.
That's right.
We are studied men.
That's right.
I ain't forcing him to be here and read. I ain't forcing that brother to stand right there and do that. I ain't forcing him to do that. Ain't nobody forcing me to do this. Come on, read on.
A workman that needeth not to be ashamed.
So you have to work at study. And you're not ashamed. You're not ashamed because some people like to think that we embarrassed because we out here talking to you like this. I'm not ashamed. I'm happy that I can tell you that you're the greatest thing on earth.
That's right.
That your nationality will take you back to King David, King Solomon.
That's right.
Moses was a black man. Abraham is a black man, look just like you. Adam was the first man on earth. Eve was the first black woman on earth. God is a black man. I'm proud to tell you that you're the greatest thing that ever walked this planet Earth. I'm not ashamed. Neither should you be. Neither should you be ashamed of your true heritage. Not this fake slavery black history. We've been here for many a years. You mean to tell me my slavery started, my history started in slavery? No. Come on, what time is it?
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
Doing what?
Rightly dividing the word of truth.
It says rightly dividing the word of truth because you'll be able to tell the lies from the truth. You got any questions? You sure? I ain't teach you everything. You got a lot of studying to do, brother. Straight up. But we got free places of learning. We don't charge for none of what we doing at all. We have free lessons online. It's israelunite.org. It's free classes 3 times a day, 7 days a week. There's always a class going on. Not only that, we're on YouTube as well. And we have a place of learning, a school that you can come to. Like one of these normal buildings out here, you come in and you sit down and you learn. We don't need anything from you. We're not trying to rob you about tithes and offerings, anything. We want our people to get this knowledge freely as it is given, freely as it received. Because we're lost in America. You still think you Jamaican and Haitian. You still smoking weed talking about you a Rasta. There's no God of Rastafarianism. There's no God of that. Selassie, I never even claimed him to be a God.
Bring it out.
The Son of Son, the King of Kings, and whatever. He told y'all to stop doing that, but you still go by Rasta. We cannot lie to ourselves and make gods unto ourselves. You can't make a God unto yourself. That's not a God. That's an idol. Last scripture real quick. Give me Psalm chapter 96, verse 6 real quick. We don't worship no other God. We worship the only God. We worship the God that created the sun. We don't worship the sun. That's what they do in Egyptology. They worship the sun god Ra. You understand what I'm saying? We don't worship the Nile River. We worship the God that created everything. You understand? We worship the God. We don't worship the stars in astrology. We worship the God that created everything. Read that verse. Come on.
Psalms chapter 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idle.
All the gods of these nations, of the African nation, the East Indian nation, the Ethiopian nation, they are idols. They're not really God. An idol is something when a person makes a god unto himself. Like you see that garbage on the floor? This is how simple an idol is. A person will come and say, you see that garbage? This is going to be my God. This gave me life. That's how simple it is for you to worship a Buddha. That's how simple it is for you to worship a Kava stone. Or think that Haile Selassie is a God. You know what I'm saying? We're not realizing that the true God wants you to worship him. The true God, he said, I am that I am. This is God right here. Everything is God. And he has a body as well. So keep reading. The gods of the nations, they are idols. Read on.
But the Lord made the heavens.
But the Lord made the heavens. None of these guys can say that they made the heavens. Haile Selassie didn't make the heavens. Allah didn't make the heavens. Krishna didn't make the heavens. But our God made everything. The heavens is speaking about space and everything else beyond that. That's why it says God dwells in heaven. Christianity will teach you that the heaven is a cloud in the sky. Heaven is everything above earth. God created the sun, the moon, and the stars, planets. God did that. Our God did that. That's how powerful you are. So if God did that, how much more powerful are you? Huh? You don't really know? Well, you're gonna know. You're gonna know. You're much more powerful than you being an American in America right now.
That's right.
You have power with God. That's your name.
That's right.
Last scripture. I know I said that already, but Genesis. Let me show you what your true name means. Your name means that you have power with God. Meaning anything that you do according to God's eyes, and that's good, when you need it, he gonna be for you. You have power with God. You have power with God. Genesis chapter 32, verse 28.
Genesis chapter 32 and verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince has thou power with God.
So this is an event when God changed a man's name. He said that I'm no longer going to call you Jacob. Read that part again.
For as a prince has... And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
He said, your name is no longer going to be called Jamal. What's your last name? Jamal Joseph, that's your last name? Julian Joseph, that's your last name, Joseph? Okay, that's your last name, Joseph? Okay, it sounds like the first name. Okay, look. So God said to our forefather Jacob, your name shall no longer be Julian Joseph, right? But what?
But Israel.
But what?
But Israel.
Israel is your true name.
That's right.
Given to you by God.
Right.
So no longer is your last name Joseph. God said your name is Israel.
That's right.
That's your true God-given name. You understand?
Right.
God gave you that. Read on.
For as a prince,
You are a prince with God. You're a prince.
Right.
What does that mean furthermore? Read.
hast thou power with God.
So since you're a prince with God, you have power with him too. You can
That's
move
right.
and make things happen
Right.
at your hands and at your mercy. You understand? Which means you can rule. Your purpose is to rule on earth
That's right.
as a prince, as a king.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us, subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.